Be mindful of what you're doing. Live in the moment. But it's a digital day and age. There's so many things happening digitally. We've got to be on the front foot. We've got to make sure we are up to date. There's so much to absorb. How to achieve mindfulness in this digital age? Sid K breathes air. Thank you for the overwhelming response. We've become a community. We've become a family. And heading our family is ATMAN in RAVI, AiR. Sid K breathes air. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
Great.
So I want to ask you, mindfulness in this digital age. Can you please explain mindfulness to us? Because everyone has a different connotation. Let's get back to the basics.
This word mindfulness is quite confusing. To a common man, it's mindful. Actually, mindfulness means mind emptiness. The actual word mindful is to become mindful. But how does one become mindful? The word mindful means becoming aware, becoming conscious. We have to understand how can there be mindfulness and digital age. In fact, they're going into opposite directions. At least it seems, but not so. The digital age has got its advantages and disadvantages. Where mindfulness is concerned, the digital age has so much information that there can be a transformation. But while there is information in the digital age that can lead to a transformation, there is also so much information that can lead to a confusion. Too many people talking of too many things. What is right, what is wrong? See, what is black, what is white, what is wrong, what is right? You need to discriminate. And this discrimination is important in this journey of realization. So putting it together, the start, there is a digital age. You can't stop it. I can't stop it. It's there to stay. How can we attain mindfulness? How can we attain that state of consciousness? How can we attain that state of peace? If the digital age is attacking you, if the social media is attacking you, and there's so much bombarding, how can you still be mindful? Like the Buddha. Over to you.
Wow. So I want to tell you, people say, feel the moment, live in the moment, be mindful of what you do. How does one strike that balance? And let me tell you, even I'm struggling with it. So it's not like I'm this guy who's cracked it. I haven't.
You know, Sid, what used to happen in the earlier days when there was no digital age? When there was no digital age, we could be peaceful because we had our privacy. We had our so-called space. Today that space is lost. But what do we fill that space with? Are we filling that space with productive information, with discrimination, or are we letting that space get overcrowded? We have a choice. When we go to sleep at night, we can close the door and stop the burglar from entering. Or we can leave the door open. Of course you don't. You close the door. But why do we leave the door for the digital age to bombard us with information that's not relevant to us? That is the challenge. We have to be mindful of the digital age. Because the digital age itself is something that can be, see, today, you want information. If you want to read the Upanishads and the Vedas, how could you do it in the past? Today it's digital. You can touch a button. You can get information. You can get the best of the gurus, the advice, the feedback. But on the other hand, while it's positive that you can get the right information and there can be transformation, what about the confusion? In the digital age, I can announce you to be the Prime Minister of India tomorrow. Because that's how easy it is, right? There's fake information. There is rubbish that can flood the media, the digital media. So how do you discriminate what is right and wrong? Therefore, there are challenges. And the whole subject of today's discussion, mindfulness. Mindfulness means awareness. means that state of being not in a mind state, but in a consciousness state. When thoughts pour like rain, they will push you down the drain and you can never be mindful again. But if you are in that state of consciousness, let the digital age unfold. But I will remain as a witness, as an observer. That's our challenge.
Okay, so I asked people on social media some questions and they've sent us. So we've got Siddharth Goyal from Shimla, and he says, many people use mindfulness apps as self-help. But how much are they different from the digital clutter?
Yes, good question. When there's digital clutter, you will go down the gutter. When there is digital clutter, you will go down the gutter. But when you use the digital apps for mindfulness, there's on a touch of a button, there's meditation. You can get a beautiful digital app which gives you a mantra, silence. All you've got to do, you're driving the car, you touch the button. Oh, and you can reach that state of stillness. But the problem is, on the other side, there are ads, there's garbage that's coming to you. Therefore, we have got to discriminate. This digital age is very challenging. So there are very good things in the digital age which can aid mindfulness. And there are the thugs, the thieves who will come from the back door and act as if they are giving you mindfulness, but they will bombard you with thoughts and you will be caught.
I'm sure there are a lot of thoughts that we have from people in the audience as well. And because we like the voice of the people, we're going to get into the audience. Who has a question? Please put your hands up.
Hi, AiR. Hi, Sid. So I have a question. So how can I be digitally mindful? So that's the question.
How can I be digitally mindful? You can't be digitally mindful because mindfulness is about stillness. Mindfulness is about being thoughtless. The moment you're trying to be digitally mindful, you're plugging into too much clutter. You can use the digital age to be still. You can use the digital age to plug into silence. But don't try to be digitally mindful. Because the digital age is an age where there's a race and people are in a chase and everybody is trying to be an ace. Correct? There's so much happening in the digital age. You can't expect digital age to be silent. It's a paradox. It's a dichotomy. So therefore, use the digital age to be mindful. And here, let us understand, mindfulness is that state where you become aware. You become aware of what the digital world is offering you. Today, let's take an example, you may be shopping in the digital world. There are two options. You can be cheated. You can be shown a fantastic product, and when you get it, you want to kick it out of your door. But you can also get a great offer on shopping.com by getting a fantastic discount or a fantastic promotion. So both are possible, but not mindfulness. Where mindfulness is concerned, mindfulness is a state of being. And you can only use the digital age, but you can't be digitally mindful.
How can mindfulness help people overcome FOMO, which is fear of missing out? When we are digitally there, we feel he's got this, he's got that, I'm not up there, I'm missing out on this. Can mindfulness help in overcoming FOMO and really focus on what matters to them?
Mindfulness is that state of being where you are not following the herd. Mindfulness is that state of being where you are a master of the mind. Because otherwise, the mind which is M-I-N-D, full of miseries, ignorance, negativity, and desires, the mind is pulling you. M-I-N-D, it's pulling you into the digital world. I want this, I want this. And what you said, FOMO, a fear of missing out. Oh, then what happens? Then we are running this race. And when we are running this race, there is no peace. The moment there is no peace, there is no mindfulness. We have to make up our mind. We have to make up our mind whether we want to be in that race of pleasure or do we want to be in that state of eternal peace. Why are people having this FOMO? People having this FOMO, this fear of missing out, because they think, hey, I want that fun. I want to be part of that excitement. I want this pleasure. But pleasure comes and pleasure goes. But peace is bliss that forever flows. So therefore, mindfulness is not about FOMO. Mindfulness is about that state of contentment and fulfillment. It's about enjoying the moment.
So when a person is in a professional sit-up or otherwise also, you're logged out, you're not seeing what's happening digitally for a few hours because it's getting onto your mind, it's draining you out. Like my mother keeps saying, looking at the phone, getting digital information, it strains your eyes and makes you get tired here too, honestly.
Absolutely.
But then, 4 hours, you've let go of the phone or the laptop. And then you get up after 4 hours and you're like, my God, this is the information I needed. The world's got it. And I'm one step behind. So how does one figure out when to engage digitally and when to disengage?
I think what I have decided to do is I choose the digital world to my advantage. And I don't lose my life to the digital world. So we have got an option to choose or to lose. When you choose the digital world, what you do is you plug into the digital world with what you want. You go to the digital world to pick information, the feed that you seek. But some people don't do that. They let the digital world come to them, and instead of being able to choose, they lose. They lose their peace, they lose their life, they lose their time, they lose their space, they lose their priorities of life. So you've got to do something. There's somebody holding the mobile phone and then he goes on. And after 3 hours, when he finishes, he's missed the most important appointments. Haven't you remember having done that? That we've forgotten something very important because we let this digital age become our boss. Remember one thing. There was a man who was riding a horse. And somebody asked him, hey, where are you going? And the man said, hey, I don't know. Ask the horse. The digital age should not become our boss. It should not ride our horse. We will be at a great loss if we let the digital age be our boss.
All right, who's the boss man or the boss lady in the audience who'd like to ask a question? Please raise your hand. Any questions?
Hi, here. I have a question. What habits do you have that promote mindfulness?
So very good. The question is, what habits do you have that promotes mindfulness? Mindfulness is the ability to still the mind. So the habits are as follows, and how are they linked to the digital age? First of all, practice of silence. So you can use the digital apps, you can use digital techniques to be still, just as much as you can be completely bombarded with the digital age. But that's not enough. The digital age makes you a monkey. If you look at the word monkey, it has a tail, EY. And this EY is nothing but digital age. Why? This EY is ever yelling and ever yearning, caused by digital age. The digital age makes us want this and that. Not only you want what's available in your town, You want what's available in your country. You want what's available in the whole world. Because the digital age lets you press the button and order something from any part of the world. So, the habit that we must develop is to cut the tail of the monkey and make it a monk. If you want to be mindful, if you want mindfulness, the habit that we must inculcate is to make the monkey into a monk. And like I said, what I do, I use digital. I don't lose myself to digital. That's the choice we have.
In fact, we've got quite a few messages from social media as well. We've got Nafees Khan from Lucknow, and he says, the virtual world often blurs the lines between reality and fiction. What can an individual do to have a constant sense of reality in these times?
It's very simple. In fact, if you want to catch hold of reality and not get caught by this virtual digital world, you need mindfulness. Because in that state of mindfulness, the mind is still and the intellect gets awakened. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is that ability to be in consciousness where the intellect is able to discriminate. So when the virtual world is offering you something, you don't get carried away. You evaluate, you discriminate, you contemplate. And unless you are able to be in that state of discrimination, you will be lost in the virtual world of confusion. And then there will be wrong implementation.
So we hear a lot of terminologies nowadays, which is digital detox, right? People take chuttis from work in those days. People say, now I'm away from my phone. I'm away from social media. So digital detox. But is it better to be mindful about digital consumption on a regular basis? Or is it better to have digital detox?
No, digital detox is not a solution.
It's not, huh?
There must be mindful consumption of the digital media. What you just said is option one. Because digital detox is just switching off, only to come back strong with a stronger urge for it. You may have a digital detox, but they say, how do you deal with anger? Do you suppress it? If you suppress anger, it will burst. Do you express it? If you express anger, it will come back like a wildfire. Similar answer for digital detox. If you try to suppress the digital world through a detox, the moment you come back to it, you're going to be much more engrossed in it. But on the other hand, if you become mindful of the digital consumption, if you know, let me tell you what I do. It is similar to a Japanese philosophy of life. I switch on the digital world, I switch it on for exactly 10 minutes. I let the digital world consume my life for 10 minutes. And then I switch off the data, the Wi-Fi. And I do 50 minutes of mindfulness, 50 minutes of contemplation, 50 minutes of focused attention. I'm giving you a practical advice of how the Japanese use this as a philosophy of life. The Japanese does a little different. They do 25 minutes of action and 25 minutes of silence and 5 minutes of action. I do 10 minutes of action and 50 minutes of contemplation. Try it. Every hour, spend 10 minutes completely in the digital world. Then switch off. Nothing will happen in 50 minutes. The world is not going anywhere. Don't be so passionate and obsessed about the digital world. 15 minutes, switch off. Do your stuff. Be mindful. Be in that state of awareness. Finish it, come back to the digital world and see how your life progresses.
In fact, we hear of people being on a dinner table together where probably out of 4, 3 are on the phone watching content while eating. In fact, parents are fighting this battle where kids and teenagers are addicted to social media, short form videos, which you call reels and all that. How can parents help kids and teenagers have a relationship with digital media, because that is what we can't avoid. So we have a relationship, but also have a relationship with themselves. How do they do that?
I think this has become a disease. And this digital disease, the sooner we are able to overcome it, the more we will have life. Otherwise, we are losing life to the digital world. We can't do away with the digital world. Whether you follow my formula of 50 minutes to 10 minutes, or you follow 30 minutes of digital being in the digital world and 30 minutes of your own contemplation and your silence. But for example, I know a family where when they sit on the dinner table, there are no mobile phones. But before they sit at the dinner table, they spend 10 minutes answering messages, checking their mobiles, checking whatever they want to do. And they sit there when the bell goes, come on, let's have dinner. All the mobile phones are off. There needs to be a commitment. But what if in the family, there are no relationships between people on the table? Then the digital world becomes an escape to do something that you enjoy doing. So therefore, there has to be a balance. We have to strike. And for this, there needs to be mindfulness.
All right, any questions from the audience? Is there anyone there? Yes, sir.
Hi, AiR. Hi, Sid. So I see Sid is actually taking questions right now from the digital media, right now in his phone right now. And this also podcast will go online later. So this is a high possibility that I think people can also get enlightenment from this kind of digital inputs. So what do you think about this?
So we have come to accept the fact that the digital world is here to stay. Nobody is talking of the digital world going away. We need the digital world. We use it. The touch of a button, nobody would believe a few years ago that you could do a video call with somebody in the United States. Nobody would, it would be weird to think of something like that. So there are a lot of possibilities. One can speak to a guru, a mentor, through a Zoom call or through a video call. But what are we talking about? We are talking about the advantage of the digital world on one side and losing our peace and losing our mindfulness on the other side. If you become a slave of the digital world, you will take this digital garbage to your grave. And although you may get everything from the digital world, you will become nothing. So what is the use of you becoming nothing? You carry all this with you, but you lose your life itself. Therefore, let us not lose our life to the digital world, but use the digital world for better mindfulness.
In fact, say in a job, right, in a corporate job or whichever job, some people work 9 to 5, some people work 9 to 9, whatever time. What mindfulness practices can they follow at their workplace, right? You get harrowed because you have to do multitasking. You also have to consume a lot of digital information. Your eyes are glued onto the screens. Multitasking, digital consumption, and also having mindfulness practices while working. How can one do that?
So one must understand what is mindfulness. And mindfulness is that ability to switch off. Mindfulness is that ability to become aware. So therefore, the underlying principle is understanding mindfulness, awareness, thoughtlessness, consciousness. In that state of mindfulness, the most important thing, whether you're in a work, a corporate job, whether it's 9 to 5 or 9 to 9, are you spending time in reflection, in contemplation? The people who don't spend time with mindfulness, they are working hard. But people who spend time in mindfulness, they are working smart. You've got to work smart. Because there are millions of people who are working hard. And it's not about working hard. It's about getting to the right answer, getting to that state of discrimination, contemplation. Therefore, when we are at a workplace, it's not about how many hours we are working like a machine. Then in today's world, you don't need human beings. Everything is being duplicated. People have got cash tellers. You don't have automated cash machines. Everything is automatic. You don't need human beings. But a robot or a machine cannot experience mindfulness. Only a human being is blessed to be in that state of consciousness.
So especially if all those people out there who are getting very worried that they might lose their jobs because of artificial intelligence, You got your answer here too, right?
And artificial intelligence cannot barge into that intellectual discrimination which comes from consciousness and mindfulness. So practice that. Become a mindfulness master. Don't live like a monkey. Cut the monkey's tail and live like a monk. Still intelligent. Be in that state of mindfulness.
There you go, the audience relating to us. Thank you. Priyanka Johar from Pune sends a message. Dear AiR, social media thrives on algorithms, right? Which promote content that triggers hate and anger. The more you get triggered and engage, the more that content is served to you. How can one come out of this vicious cycle?
You are a victim of hate and anger because you're not mindful. The whole problem is that you have lost the game to mindfulness. The moment you are in a state of mind, then your door is open to anger, hate, revenge, jealousy, and so much. There's so much clutter in this world. There's so much war in this world between communities and religions and nationalities. But what does that person have to do who is in a state of mindfulness? You become a Buddha in this world of clutter and race. You remain a monk. Therefore, a person who's mindful will not be a victim of anger and hate. When such a message comes in the digital media, they will just bypass it. They will not click to get into the mess that people are, which is causing stress. Why do we choose that mess that causes stress? Why can't we choose bliss and happiness?
How many of you have actually fought this battle of wanting bliss, yet not getting bliss because you're stuck in the middle of this war between digital consumption and inner peace? Has anyone gone through this? Can we have the mic there given to ma'am?
So there's a lot of times when I sit down in silence and I want to contemplate, but then I remember some work, then I get some notifications on the phone, and then I get back to the digital clutter. How do I get rid of that fight between my mind and the work?
The whole problem with the digital age is that they can make you a slave. They can give you notifications, they can give you triggers, they can give you, through all their digital options, they can get you into the state of mind. What is a state of mind? A state of mind is where there are too many thoughts. Now you are sitting, you wanted to meditate, you wanted to be at peace and be silent. But what about this notification? And you're so tempted to press that button, right? And for a moment you say, wait, and you see another notification and another notification, and you start wondering, you get curious, what are all these notifications, what are all these triggers? And the moment you touch that button, you are gone. Because the mind, it takes you from one thought and then to another thought, that one notification to the next and the next and the next. And by the time you finish that, you will even forget that you were trying to meditate. And you've already lost your peace of mind, which was within, but you lost it to your own mind. Therefore, we need to discipline ourselves, new word, discipline ourselves with digital consumption. And unless there is this discipline of digital consumption, the fear of FOMO, as he calls it, is going to pull you into the digital world. And you will get very advanced. You will be a master of the social media. But you will be completely a failure when it comes to peace. And you will not have that eternal happiness and bliss.
Okay, now what happens is people who make a living out of digital media. Some people, it's a part of their existence. Influencers, there's so many of them. It could be a housewife, it could be a kid, it could be anyone of different ages. They've all become influencers. They live by the phone. It's their job to create content. How do they achieve inner peace when they have to make are living through their phone and digital media.
Even people who are influencers and whose work, whose career, whose profession is to do with the mobile phone or social media, if they don't have time for mindfulness, they will fail because their content will become routine. They need to set back. They need time for consciousness. They need time for discrimination. They need time to come back. And this is the problem in today's world. People think that they can work 24/7. People are working 12 hours in India, and then when they want to sleep, America wakes up and they get busy with America. And then you hear they died of heart attack. No, we are not machines. And even if it's an influencer, being in that state of mindfulness is very important to come out with your best potential, to come out with your best content. Because you need, why has God created day and night? Because you need the cycle. You need that cycle of action and contemplation. If you are completely messed up with action, and action, then there will be no realization.
Wow. So before we move on, I want you to give a final sign off to all our viewers. Mindfulness in the digital age, AiR stake.
Dear friends, the digital age is amazing. But let us not let the digital age make us a monkey in the cage. Let us realize that on this earth stage, we should not age before its time. Let us learn to breathe. Let us learn to remember that this world is a show. We come and we go. And before the whistle will blow, it does not matter how much of the digital information you carry in your head, but what you contemplate and realize before you are dead. So wake up, use the digital age, don't lose to the digital age.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our viewers. Remember, if you have questions, if you want us to choose topics for you, you can follow me on my Instagram handle. Send us the topics you want us to talk to you about. I am Siddharth Kannan. Remember, Sid K breathes air. I breathe air. You breathe air. And here is AiR, ATMAN in RAVI. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Sid K breathes air. See you next week. Bye.